SpaceX Starlink, this cellular telco takeover begins now. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. So good, so good. That smokiness. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We'll be talking about SpaceX and how they're kind of moving forward to the possibility, actually, of taking over cellular telcos. I know it sounds absolutely absurd, and I've talked about this in the past, ever since the very beginning, about 30 months ago. I said, you know, if this thing really takes off and they're able to connect the cell phones with the satellites, almost like an old version of an Iridium type of old school sat phone, is that possible? Well, it is possible, and they are doing it already. There's other companies doing it also, but SpaceX has it definitely in the bag with Starlink. And the reason being is instead of just having one or two satellites up there in orbit, they have thousands that form this mesh network. Well, we found out at the end of last year that they were able to, or they got permission to do testing to see if they're able to make those connections. So basically being able to go outside, grab your phone, and make a call or get some type of data, either through texting or whatever, but doing so without having a cell tower nearby, without having Wi-Fi, without having any connectivity at all. Doing it direct from your phone, an unmodified phone, to a satellite. And they were able to do it. Now, the problem that has always been the issue for me, and the thing that I said was going to be something that would be a revolutionary or a turning point, where I personally thought that SpaceX, Starlink, would, let's just say, give a run for their money when it comes to the telcos, is when they're able to make these connections, not from outside of a building, but from inside. Now, it doesn't matter what type of thousands and thousands of dollars of sat phone you had, even back in the day, with that connection to a satellite, you still needed to be in open air, right? You could not make a sat call inside of a building. And what I posed was, if they were able to do that one day, through whatever means they do it by, these cell telco companies would really start shaking in their boots. And according to what I was just reading, it may have happened already. This is such massive news that a lot of people out there don't realize how big this is. Because if you think about it, if SpaceX Starlink was able to provide phone service as well as texting and even a small amount of surfing the web indoors to a satellite, I mean, it's pretty much game over. All right. And that's my personal opinion. I could be absolutely wrong. All right. Now, how they're currently doing it, if you just visualize it as this, all right? Now, originally, SpaceX Starlink had satellites, those Generation 1s, and even the Generation 1.5s, and the very beginning of the Generation 2.0 minis. Those satellites simply had communication through sat, through those antennas, through dishy that we have, right? Well, as of the end of last year, the satellites, those minis that they were putting up there, had eNode Bs on board, which is basically considered a cell tower on the satellite. You could think of it as those cell towers that you see up the road from you, right? Those tall towers, those tall antennas that have all of these different shapes, some conal shape, some cylindrical, some all different types of shape antennas. Now, those antennas are basically providing you with that cell service. Now, instead of having that one tower up the road from you, imagine having 100 or 1,000 or one day tens of thousands of these cell towers in space. They're coming by you at 17,000 miles per hour, and they're handshaking from one to the next to the next. So using this, you would be able to go outside, make a phone call, text your friends, get onto the web, do all of this stuff, right? Once again, that is without any type of cell service, with any type of Wi-Fi, with nothing, just by using those satellites. Now, imagine being able to do that indoors, in your home, not having to go outside and still be able to use a satellite. And I think that is what just recently happened, because what was kind of disclosed in an article that I was just reading on PC Magazine kind of alludes to that. And I want to read some of this to you because I think it is really, really important. I'll give you my commentary, of course, and then more importantly, I want to hear from you down below. So before we get into this article, I want to say that if you enjoyed this content, even in the least, throw it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not, if you are, thank you. Click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. If you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, they're free. Go check them out over at JCristina.com/books. If you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a thank you button right down here. Give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that's perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. Also, if you're looking for more Starlink content, I'll put a link here. And finally, if you're looking for a VPN, check out the guys over there at PureVPN. They gave us a promo code, which is JCristina. You could use that at checkout and get 15 additional % off. Also, if you don't want to remember that, you can go to JCristina.com/VPN. Once again, JCristina.com/VPN and get that additional % off. So the article starts out by saying the FCC has given SpaceX regulatory clearance to start expanding testing of its cellular Starlink system in the US. The FCC today issued an experimental license to SpaceX to test cellular Starlink in 10 more US locations. That comes after it granted license to 24 other locations in December. Once again, last year. Originally, the FCC only granted SpaceX permission to test the cellular Starlink system in select cities, such as Mountain View, California, Dallas, Texas, and Pie Town, New Mexico. But now the commission is letting the company test the technology statewide in California, Washington, Texas, and in Hawaii. In addition, SpaceX can conduct testing in Cape Canaveral, Florida, that's right up the road from me, Whitmore Lake, Michigan, and Rock Creek, Colorado, among other locations. The company is indicating that the test will see how the cellular Starlink system fares across various kinds of terrain. This is important. Will this work in the mountains? Will this work under tree, foliage, in buildings? Wait for it. In a filing to the FCC earlier this month, SpaceX said, quote, including these additional locations will enable SpaceX to more fully test its direct-to-cellular system, including beam placement and topography software, in a variety of different geographic circumstances. Like I said, this is important. This is a quote. In the meantime, the company's initial tests have shown that the cellular Starlink satellite can successfully beam internet data to unmodified smartphones on the ground. We knew about this. This includes powering download speeds up to 17 megabits per second and even sending the internet data while the phone is under tree cover and even indoors. What? That has never, ever come out. So this is something that has been dug into, either the FCC, maybe one of their filings, something. This is now admitted to that not only are they able to achieve 17 megabits per second, but if this is correct, they are also able to do it under tree cover and, more importantly, indoors. Boom. That is what I've been telling you guys. That's what we've been looking for. Is it going to be possible for them to be able to send this beam, this cone, right, of data through the roof, through foliage, through buildings? Will it be able to happen? Remember, in the past, if you have any type of sat phone, you must have clear view of the sky or you cannot use it. The only thing that I can think of is this would attest to how powerful these beams are now. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll let you guys speculate, but it's a thing according to this. Let me finish this article. The technology's goal is to serve cellular dead zones, making it possible for consumers to receive satellite connectivity in remote and rural areas. SpaceX is aiming to launch the cellular Starlink system for T-Mobile customers later this year, first to support text messaging. But the company still needs approval from the FCC to operate the cellular Starlink technology commercially. Makes sense. Some rival telecommunication providers are concerned that SpaceX system risks causing radio interference. There's bigger risks than interference. But in a letter to the FCC last week, SpaceX noted, quote, "Over 2 months of daily testing, SpaceX has not received any notices of harmful interference from any in-band, out-of-band, or cross-border users, and there are no reasons to believe such interference has occurred." No interference. I've said this before. Matter of fact, my last video, and there were some people that were arguing with me. You can talk through the same bands, but you have to do it properly so you don't step on the backs of the shoes of everyone else, right? There's ways of doing it. It's not impossible. It's similar to how you would do a network where multiple people can have the exact same IP address, but using network translation properly, like CGNAT and so on and so forth, you can now facilitate multiple people having the exact same IP. Anyways, it is different when it comes to radio frequency, but trust me, it can be done. Now, they are showing that there's absolutely zero so far notification from anyone that there was any type of interference. So that means the 2 months of testing has caused no interference to any other providers, which I figured that would be the case. They knew that it was going to be the case, but they have to make the case, so to speak, to the FCC so that they are granted the right to be able to offer this as a commercial package, right? To be able to sell it to you and I. So this is big. This is really big. And if this is correct, now bear in mind, I did not take the time, all right, to do a second or third check on this to make sure that it's correct, all right? Bear that in mind. I'm giving this to you first thing in the morning after I read it. So with the caveat, that is, if this is correct, and this has come out through FCC filings and through all the rest of the stuff, and this is right, that they not only were able to download at speeds at 17 megabits per second on an unmodified phone directly from a satellite, outdoors, under foliage, under tree cover, and inside of a building, everything has changed as of today. I promise you, I've said this 30 months ago, and I think the day is here. So, what does it mean? Like I said before, the telco companies, the ones that are doing all of the wireless that you see, the Verizons, the AT&T, the T-Mobiles even, they need to be worried, right? I do believe there will come a time when there is 43,000 Starlink satellites in low Earth orbit, not at 530 kilometers, but sitting at about 320 kilometers, because they are getting closer. Hang in there, you'll see. By them being that low and having that mass quantity of them, all right, it will be absolutely unmatchable. Think about tens of thousands of those towers that you see down the road in space. There's no way that any telco company can put up that number of towers to be able to facilitate connectivity throughout the entire world. It's just simply not feasible. That's it. When was the last time you saw a tower come up near you? The only thing that I have seen is companies like T-Mobile bought out Sprint, for example, and then ended up taking over their towers and now retrofitting them with their 5G. That's it. I see tower takeovers but I don't see new towers going up anywhere. I don't know. Maybe it's me and my location. I don't know. Let me know. Are you seeing any new towers? I'm not seeing any. So if we do see tens of thousands of these cell towers in space, I really do think these cell companies are going to start feeling it. Maybe even some of the smaller ones going out of business. And for me, I think rightfully so. I think they've screwed the public for so many years. They made so many billions, probably trillions of dollars from us, right? It would be okay if a few of them went out of business and SpaceX, Starlink took over that for maybe a decade. I want to see competition, don't get me wrong, all right? But I think these big wigs, I think it's time for them to go. They've made enough money on our backs, in my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe you think I'm wrong. So anyways, what say you? What do you think? What do you think? If this is a case and you can actually take your phone, no matter what it is, walk outside, not only make a call, text a friend, as well as be able to surf the web and not have any connectivity with any telco besides Starlink, can you imagine? What is the bill difference, right? How much do you pay for your cell phone service today? And your internet service and all the rest of this stuff combined? I know I pay a damn lot because I have many phones that are on the service, okay? Imagine if all that went. And as long as you have Starlink, let's say in your home, and you're paying $120 a month, all of these will work too. Are you kidding me? You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month savings per home. Crazy. We live in crazy times, guys. Absolutely crazy times. Once again, what say you? Down below, let's have this discussion. Finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. Maybe some of my teas, maybe some of my merch. Pick something up. Support me and my family. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.